Live. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Contracting and Business Summit, which is sponsored by the LT&A Business Group, which is a boutique government contracting and consulting firm. We provide government contracting and compliance services to those operating within the government contracting industry. We remove confusion and doubt around government contracting to any business seeking to do business with the world's largest client, and that is the U.S. government. Whether you're seeking to do business on a federal, state, or local level, the LT&A Consulting Group is the premier go-to source for government contracting. Good morning, everyone. I am your host, Luciana Turner, and welcome to the Contracting and Business Summit. Whew, let me tell you, we've made it to the end of the year, and as business leaders, we have made a plethora of decisions this year. And we understand that all of these decisions impact whether or not our businesses thrive. Not just grow, but thrive. And to this end, we understand that in order for our businesses to thrive, we must have pertinent and timely information. So I pulled together my power partners and formed this summit so that we can bring you some timely, impactful, and actionable information. Now, just a little bit about me. I am a compliance specialist who has worked for 20 plus years within the government contracting realm. I've provided and done incurred cost submissions, worked on incurred cost audits. I am the person nobody wants to talk to until it's time to write the government a check. Then everybody's beating my door down when they've ignored my advice all year long. Previous to that, I was a financial analyst. I worked direct on project administering a multi-million dollar budget for a armed agency. Prior to that, I worked for a DoD think tank. Uh, that was an interesting experience. And that was actually my first foray into government contracting. I've done financial analyst analyzing. In a previous life, I was a collection agent. So I've touched and dabbled around compliance and regulations for an extensive amount of time. So I understand what it is to know why we must make decisions and have pertinent information to make those decisions. My first presenter today is coming to you talking about business strategy and business development. She is a wealth of knowledge. I actually ran her interview mid-year, and I'm rerunning her interview because timeless information, actionable information can't be bottled in. And she just released a planner that everybody in my network needs to have. She's my coach, and I want to introduce you to her. Her name is Beverly Walthauer. She's actually in the group. So if you have questions, post them in the chat, post them in the group. And I'm bringing you her interview right now. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to day 6. Can you believe it? It's day 6 of Contracting and Business Week. I am your host, Luciana Turner, and it's been an amazing, amazing week of impactful and actionable. See, that's the key word. Actionable information that has been provided all week long. And I want to just sit there. Every night, my guests have given you information that you can act on right then, right there. You can sit down with your contractor's notebook and your strategic plan and amend your plan. There was some type of action you could implement in your business off of some key nugget they gave you. And that was the purpose of this week, to leave my audience with something they could take action on. And we're going to further that tonight because our guest, business strategist Beverly Walthauer, is going to bring it on home. So we're going to bring her on because she's just chomping at the bit. How are you doing?
Hello.
I have to tell you, this is ordained. And I'm going to tell you why. I got notice of something that you actually tagged me in 2-3 days ago.
Mhm.
And the notice popped up again just before we went live.
Oh,
And it ties the whole week up.
okay.
And that was Habakkuk 2 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
Write the
Mm-hmm.
vision and make it plain.
Mm.
So I'm going to throw my notes for tonight away. And we going to park it right there.
All right.
Most businesses contracted, and you know what? I'm gonna back up and bring it and slow it down. Most government contractors, for some reason, forget their business.
Mm.
I don't know why. How do I get started in government contracting? Well, do you have a plan?
Mm.
Uh,
Yep.
okay. Do you have a plan for your business? And do you have a contracting plan? Two different things.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have to sustain your business while you're waiting for your contract.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I spoke Greek to somebody. Somebody's core was shooketh.
Now became
Somebody's
James. Now became
foundation.
James.
I hurt somebody's feelings, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because this week was about shaking the rafters.
Mm.
It was about dispelling myths. I believe there are too many incomplete conversations.
Mm-hmm.
And am I alone? Am I crazy?
No, it's this is at least my experience when it comes to people and talking to people about business and planning and all of those things. I always try to look at hey, um, some people go into business, they have the skill sets for, so they're gifted, contracting, photography, whatever it is that they do, but it's the business side to it that they don't have that skill set. And just like you said, you have to have the business skill set, know how, if you're going to sustain a business. And so, a lot of us, we see somebody on social media talking about how wonderful entrepreneurship is. They're not showing you the other side of that thing. And so, once again, really and truly, you having that foundation is going to be key. And for a lot of people, it's only so much you can Google, only so much you can get from YouTube or Pinterest or whatever it is, versus you partnering with and locking arms with someone who's been there and done that type of thing. And so, yeah, a lot of people, there's some of that foundational stuff, and if they don't have it, they're not going to be able to sustain it. Period.
I tell people Google University, YouTube College is nice,
Mm-hmm.
but building the community,
Mm-hmm.
knowing who labors amongst you,
Correct.
getting around learned, skilled coaches and consultants, getting people who are constantly and learning themselves and who have
Mm-hmm.
been there and done that makes a difference. And it's like speaking, I don't know if they're in denial,
Mm-hmm.
which is a river that runs through Egypt, or I don't know what's going on.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to speak for myself, what I have learned. You have different types of people that's a part of your audience. Those that, and I always say, I taught students, I taught middle school for 14 years. Um, and so when I transitioned to working with adults, training and consulting with adults, it was just certain things I'm like, I'm not tolerating this coming from a grown person. It's different when I'm dealing with the middle school and we trying to do this Pythagorean theorem. I'm not doing all of this when it comes to grown people. And
Mm,
so, I'm not pulling you across the finish line. I'm not dragging. I'm not pleading. I'm not begging with you. Hey, you need to have this, that, and the third. I'm talking to those that are like, you know what? I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I have tried this thing my way. It's not working. I need to partner with someone that has the knowledge and the know-how. That's how I've had to learn to shift my focus. Because
yeah.
the rest of them, I'm not fooling with y'all. The way the way I'm set up, I can't do it.
You know what? I love that you said that because I was in your challenge last week. And I'm going to tell you, it was an amazing challenge. And you affirmed and confirmed some things for me
Mhm, mhm,
because I knew I had to shift focus
mhm,
in this season. And I was being disobediently obedient,
mhm,
if that makes sense.
mhm, mhm.
Sometimes we have temper tantrums
Yes,
as
yes,
we're
yes.
being obedient
Mhm,
because I felt a level of guilt
mhm,
because it's like, okay, I want to serve this market,
mhm,
but it's like I'm talking to people who don't want to be served.
mhm, mhm.
So, in transitioning to people who
Yeah,
want to be served, and they're the people who understand
mhm.
I can't do this alone.
Correct.
I need help in the areas that I don't
Yeah.
know.
Mhm,
You know, there are people who come to me and say, I have a service that I want to offer to the government.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how my service fits in. Wednesday night I did live coaching.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, I never thought about it this way when we got off the
Yep.
live.
Yep.
Those are the people that I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking to. I'm no longer talking to people who want to know more than me.
Correct, correct. And see, with the contracting, what you may have to do, and when I say educate people, not convince them, but for some people, they're thinking, okay, well, I'm not in the military, I'm not a part of the, and you have to let them know that's not what that means to
Right.
be able to secure. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's different, educating people in that sense, not once again trying to convince them, girl, you need to do this, and you need, no. It's for those people like, oh, I didn't know. Or for those people that are actively seeking, like, how do I get my foot into this door? Or how do, just like you said, how do I translate this skill set into this particular area? And so, yeah, you should feel free where you're just like, oh, because like I said, I'm not trying to drag grown folks across the finish line. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it.
And you know what? And that's why I brought you in, because I'm a believer in staying in your lane.
Mm-hmm.
And you possess the skill. And, I haven't shared the agenda for October with my speakers. I'm going to share it this week.
Mm-hmm.
But I actually titled your session.
Oh, goodness. The drum roll, please.
You said what? Because people don't know how to talk about what they sell.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then, so if you don't know how to talk about what you sell,
Correct.
how are you going to respond to an RFP?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
So, so then I'm tagging along behind that with positioning.
Okay.
So, like,
Okay.
how are you answering an RFP if you don't even know how to talk about what you sell?
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
So then there's the business side of it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know how to talk about what you sell, which was a beautiful thing about the challenge I was in with
Mm-hmm.
you. And which is why I took your challenge,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't know. I talk government fluently.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
I don't talk to you people fluently.
I don't talk to you people.
You know what? Because I sit there and I'm talking to people, and if I'm not talking to a contractor, I get the glazed look.
Yes. Yep. You have to listen. You have to talk the vocabulary. And even for me, as a former educator, there was certain verbiage and vocabulary and acronyms and all of that stuff. We can talk that amongst ourselves. I can't talk that way to a parent, because just like you said, they're gonna be like the deer in headlights. Or I'm speaking with a partner in education. I can't use that verbiage. I have to know how to speak their language. It's not me dumbing down. It's none of that. It's me being able to speak to the different stakeholders and being able to have these conversations with them in ways where it makes sense for them, where they're like, oh, why did you just say that? And in your head, you're like, I did say that, and you can't.
Yeah, because every industry has its own language. Because when you talk to a financier and you're sitting in a room with full of finance people, they're speaking finance.
Correct.
And they speak it fluently. And then you're sitting there like, you trying to pull out
any moment
now.
I'm trying to follow the money. Trying to, okay, what this? I don't even know how you spell this right. I think that's how you spell it.
And then get in the room full of chemists and they're speaking chemistry.
Correct.
Don't get in a room full of physics, and don't get in a room full of military people.
Look. So
you might as well just go home.
Exactly.
Every industry has its own language.
Correct.
And that's a part of the business strategy, is that Rosetta Stone.
Correct. Yep. You have to be able to communicate with your audience. If not, like I said, you can have all the knowledge in the world, but if you can't convey that to the audience or the person that's buying, you're just sitting there. And so, like I said, they will have this glazed look, and this is what they'll say: I need to think about it. Let me go pray about it. Let me go speak to my spouse about it. Let me go talk to my business partner, because they have no clue what in the world is going on. And so, the onus is on us as business owners to be able to clearly convey what it is, what it is that we do. And so and I tell people all the time, I'm not selling business coaching. I'm not selling, this portrait or this artwork. It's so much more. And so yeah, it's just very interesting when you really and truly get to the heart of talking about what it is that you sell and sales and all of those things. Like I said, being able to communicate that effectively is key.
It's it's just a wonderful thing because every event that I go to, every challenge that I go to, I add another person to my community that I can pull from.
Hmm.
And I think that's the best thing about attending events
Hmm.
or working with a new coach,
Hmm.
or because everybody on on this webinar this week has been somebody I met because of a coach or a mentor that I've worked with.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I've gained learning, but I've gained a community.
Yes. And that's a powerful piece. I'm such a firm believer, especially entrepreneurship. You were not called to walk this entrepreneurial journey by yourself. I'm telling you, it will have you curled up in the fetal position somewhere, wanting to quit your business every other hour of the day. And so I think it's very important, like you said, having that community, having people, being okay with being in the rooms with people that know more than you, because it allows for you to be able to learn and grow in all of those things, knowing that it is a process, it is a journey. Like, I have not arrived yet, like that type of thing. I always share this story. When I was going, this was years ago, when I was going for my first 6-figure year, I put myself in rooms with people that were doing 6 figures in a week, because I needed to see. I'm like, hey, if I'm believing for 6 figures in a year, if somebody can do it in a week, it shows me all the possibility. Like that type. Like, don't be afraid to be in the room with people that are doing it at levels in which you aspire to. Like, you're supposed to be in those types of rooms where you don't know it all. Because if you look, if you're the smartest person in the room, something ain't right. I'm just saying. And so community is so beautiful and so powerful. And being able to be in those types of spaces is absolutely beautiful. Like, testimonials are coming in, even from the challenge that Luciana keeps mentioning. Testimonials are coming in like crazy. And one of the beautiful things that the women kept talking about over and over and over again was the other people that were in the room, and the other businesses that they were connected to, and all the other business women, like those types of things. And some people were like, I realized I'm not alone, because I'm telling you, entrepreneurship will have you thinking that you don't know nothing, that you never took a class or been to school or anything. And so, being in that space and place where you get to see that, hey, I'm not the only one dealing with this. You can have these real open and honest conversations. I don't have to have all the answers. That's another thing too. The women that I serve, they're powerhouse women. And it's like, I don't have to have all the answers. Like, it's okay if I don't know a thing, but I know that I'm connected to someone who does, and I can go through and I can ask those questions. So I love what you said just about community. There's so much power in community.
I'm glad you said that because I'm gonna tell you, I woke up um Wednesday was a day
Mm.
and a half.
Hmm.
And I'm gonna tell you, if it wasn't for the fact I had a community, I'd have curled up in the ball somewhere, and I don't know if I'd have ever got, or it wouldn't have been a live Wednesday night because I never would have.
Mm. Wow.
People get on these internet streets
Hmm.
and they will make you think entrepreneurship is all glamour and glitz,
Yes. Yes.
hopping on Lear jets and all that stuff. I
Mm.
follow another coach. Her company just went Fortune 500.
Hmm. Hmm.
She's hosting an event in November.
Hmm.
Now she said something that lightened my spirit because
Hmm.
I'm having the event in October,
Hmm.
and she was like, hosting events is hard,
Hmm. Oh yes.
and I was like, oh,
Oh yeah.
because I was trying to sit here figure out what am I doing wrong.
And see, and my thing is, though, for you to be. it's so important to be in spaces with people that will tell you that. Like when I've hosted events before, and I'm telling you, it's not a walk in the park type of situation. It's the logistics, it's the behind the scenes. People, when they arrive at the event, they see everything. Like, oh my God, this is beautiful. They don't know all the stuff that behind the scenes, the negotiations, the contracts that fell through, the people that are not following through.
Mhm.
When I tell you, yes, it's not, and I don't look, it is not an easy thing. And so to be able to, when you hear that, and like I said, it really makes you go like, oh, thank you, God, because I really thought like I said, it will have you questioning everything about yourself and your ability and all of that stuff. So yes, 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 and did I say yes?
Because I was, and you have to, and as you go through the journey, and somebody's listening to this broadcast and like, what does this have to do with business strategy? Because you have to be strategic about everything. You have
Mm-hmm.
to be strategic about what you take in.
Yep.
Because I was celebrating my first book sale, because I just launched the pre-sale of my book, Keys to Government Contracting.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so excited about the first book sale.
Mm-hmm.
And someone actually tried to downplay it. You
They
you
didn't
have to be
publicly.
careful of that.
They didn't publicly. Don't make me have to act up. That wasn't in public. They tried to downplay
No,
it.
they didn't try to do it in public.
Yeah, because I look, I will, and this is one of the biggest things. And it's so funny that you said that because I was on a social media platform and the same thing. Um, TikTok just started their what is it called? The shop or something.
Oh
And
yeah.
so somebody was celebrating the fact, hey, my shop is open, and then somebody made the comment with one sale.
Oh yeah. People
So
petty.
yeah, and I'm just like, no. Look, I tell my people all the time, oh, we celebrating everything. Oh, you went live for the first time. Oh, we celebrating that. You did, because my thing is we can get so laser focused on just the end goal that we don't celebrate along the way. You celebrate all of those things along the way, even if you're the only one cheering for your own doggone self. Be the only one. But yeah, you don't ever downplay someone else's. Oh, look, I'm a comment down. Look here, because that bothers me on so many levels. And I'm like, no, that's not what we do. You celebrate it all because it was somebody that didn't sell any books at all. Period. And so once again, you celebrate every step of the way. Like I said, I'm about all of it. We celebrate. Oh, you posted what? We doing it all. We are doing it all.
And that's the importance of being in the right circles and taking in the right things.
Mm.
And it's all, and even that needs to be a part of your strategy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What rooms are you in during the year?
Thank you. Thank you.
Whose conferences are you going to attend?
Mm-hmm.
And make sure, in every conference ain't a good conference.
Correct.
I've learned that.
Mm-hmm.
Every conference isn't a good conference.
Yep.
I have on my list for the remainder 2023, 2024 conferences I'm going to attend. There are some coaches that I follow on Facebook that I will no longer be following, not because they're bad coaches,
Mm-hmm.
but they no longer serve me in this
Correct.
season.
Correct.
We have to recognize the seasons that we're in.
That we're in.
We had that conversation during the challenge,
Mm-hmm.
recognizing seasons that we're in and
Correct.
the transitions that are going on.
I think, and especially connecting this to business strategy, people don't always think about that. Who you're connected to, who you're connected with, who you're allowing to be in your ear, all of those things and everything. There are some seasons where you need to cut off. It may just be one person that you're really following. Everybody else, I have to mute you for right now because it'll have you with all these. Somebody said do it this way. Somebody said no, do it this way. Somebody said no, do it this way. And you run around here all over the place trying to figure it all out. And sometimes it's like, nope, shut it down. I'm going to listen to this right here. I'm going to follow this right here. And I'm going to see it through into this particular point. And then when it's time for me to then move to the next part, that's what I'll do. But that was huge what you said. Once again, you have to be really careful about who you allow in your ear. And then something else that you said too, as you have to be very strategic about the seasons that you're in and how you may have done business in one season, it may no longer serve you in this next. You've heard about people pivoting, for the past 3 years. And the thing is, as a business owner, that's a part of decision making. And you have to ensure that you're doing things in your business that make sense for your business. Like when you're looking at the bottom line of your business, does this make sense for my business in the season that I'm in and the goals and the vision that we have? If it doesn't make sense, if it's no longer in alignment, then there are some decisions that need to be made. And that's part of you being a business owner.
And I just want to tag along on this. Every return on investment isn't monetary.
Correct.
So get out of this notion of I'm going to spend $5,000 and my return on investment is $20,000.
Mm-hmm.
Your $5,000 investment may be a connection to somebody who can connect you to somebody who's going to lead you to $1 million.
Mm.
And that is something I learned accidentally on purpose. And I use that phrase because I was in a room and I met somebody, and I met them 7 years ago. I met her 7 years ago. Yeah, because my kid, 7 years ago. I was applying for a contract. I didn't have the background for the contract. I've never, so I reached out. It's something, what the Lord told me to reach out to this person.
Mm.
I fought it, and I finally reached out to her. The meeting got rescheduled 3 times. When we finally met, now I'm gonna tell you why it was a good thing. Because if we had met at first, the answer would have been no, because we would have been competitors.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
By the time we met, she had decided not to compete.
Mm.
But she said, yes, I'll support your application. Go ahead and use my name. I spent $2,000 7 years ago to use her name on the application because her name gave me leverage.
Yes.
A $2 million opportunity 7
Mm.
years later. That's the
Mm.
return on investment. That was a seed I sowed 7 years ago.
Yes, yes. And if we understand about the whole concept of sowing seed, and the powerful thing is, and one thing that I always tell, because I work specifically with coaches and service providers for coaches, and I'm always saying, the tools, the resources, the things that you share with your clients, it doesn't disappear, after the 12 weeks that you work with them and all that. They carry those things with them. I've literally had clients come back to me 3 years later, Bev, I'm still using the same concept. I just closed a $100,000 contract. Like, and that's when you understand that as an entrepreneur, yourself about the return on your investment. And, when you're looking to invest in things in your business, there are going to be some short-term things and some long-term goals. Like this is a long-term type of situation. And so, you're looking at it in that sense. And so, anyone that just makes a decision, I'm talking about business owners right now, if you're only making the decision based solely on the pricing, there's
Yes.
an issue there. There's an issue there. Like,
Yes.
because there's so much more. There's so many other pieces that you want to look at when it comes to investing in your business. I have people that come to me and they're like, "Oh my gosh, Beb, I invested this, that, and the third. I've invested, 10,000, 100,000, $500,000 in my business, trying to get it to a certain point." And I'm looking at what they're investing. I'm like, "But your business wasn't ready for that. Like, you weren't at that stage where." Once again, foundational stuff. A lot of us, we see this stuff on social media and we're skipping around trying to do. Somebody say I need to do AI. Somebody say I need to be on Pinterest. Somebody say I need to be on YouTube. You're all over this place doing all of these things, but you don't have a foundation in your business. Like I said, you can't even clearly articulate who it is you serve and how you want to serve them. You can't clearly articulate the result of your what it is that you offer, the product or your service. What is it that you actually sell? Like those types of things. What's your messaging? You don't. It's like foundation. This stuff is not sexy. So you have to have that foundational stuff. When you have that foundational stuff, then adding the other pieces, that's going to be icing on the cake. But once again, some of us, we're trying to put icing and there's no cake there. Once again, versus you trying to build this cake and you have these different layers there, you just icing the plate. Like, what are we doing? You trying to scale zero. You can't scale zero. What you talking about scaling something and automating something? You don't have anything there to scale and automate. What are you doing? So yeah, I'm sorry. I'm back.
Oh no, you on it. You on it because we out of order.
Out of order. Out of order.
You know, there's so many people. It's just like threads. Everybody jumped on threads. I just got on threads.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason I moved to threads, once again, it was an unctioning.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But people jump on the latest bandwagon. But what is your strategy? What is the end goal? I had somebody tell me, well, you don't have to do this. And I'm like, yeah, I know that. But
Mm-hmm.
I have a goal. You
Correct.
can't see my goal because it's
Correct.
not your goal. It's not your
Correct.
strategy.
Mm-hmm.
I have a strategy for what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
And my strategy is a 5-year strategy.
Yes.
You don't see the fruit of my strategy because you're looking for dollars. My strategy is one exposure, one practice, one implementation. My strategy is evolving because when I first started it, it was just to get me used to talking in front of people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So your strategy could just be getting used to talking to people. Just when I first started going live, it was just to get used to being on camera. That's a strategy.
Yes. Yep.
Things, people people are so used to criticizing, and this is something someone told me. A person doing nothing always have a criticism because they always sitting back observing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that came after a conversation someone had with me because they criticized me about something.
Mm-hmm.
And it bothered me. And then when I shared it, I'm glad for my community. They were like, why are you bothered that a person who came to
Don't even.
you, and then they fired me up because they said because they should have paid you for the coaching you gave them, which is why they tried to dim your light because they
Mm.
know they owed you for that coaching.
Mm. Wow.
Criticized you because they couldn't see your end vision. You have to be true to your vision.
Yes. Yes.
And people who try to dim your light oftentimes try to dim your light because they see that they took advantage of your light and they want you dim. They want you dim because they want access to you always. They see where you're going. They see that their access to you is going to go away.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people they want that continued access.
Correct.
So they
Correct.
can't see you accelerate.
Correct.
So, and then I also want to say, a lot of the things that are starting to come, like I said, that seed I sowed was 7 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Going to the rooms of this one coach, and if I ever reach out to her again, I'm gonna reach out to her because she told me this: get from behind my computer.
Mm-hmm. Mm, go put some clothes on. I tell you, put some clothes on and go get from behind the. Yes, put some clothes on. Get dressed from the waist down because we're dressed from the waist up. Ain't nobody gonna ask us to stand up right now and see what's going on because we flashing the whole world right now.
How many people are running business with the lie that you can run your whole business from a computer? Oh, there's no reason to leave your house. Who told that lie?
Why would I want to even? Like I said, there are some people, I guess, but why would I not want to leave my house, get some fresh air, get some sun, go touch some grass? I had that on the post the other day. Go touch some grass.
Human beings were never meant to be isolated.
Mm.
One, two. When I bid on my 4th contract, when I won that contract and I had the meeting to onboard. You know what the contracting officer told me? I remember you.
Mm.
He remembered my company from one, meeting me, and two, because I had bid before.
Mm.
Being in the room. That's why you should go to rooms. People
Correct.
remember you when you're always showing up. People remember you from attending events. People remember you from just showing your business. Stop with
Mm-hmm.
this whole. Now, I'm not anti technology. That's not what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying. But because everybody's so technology based, you may want to slip a business card.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
so he remembered me because I was always present. So when I won the contract and we had the onboard meeting, he said, "I remembered you." He said, "I remembered when the proposal came out, your company name. I remembered meeting you."
Wow. Wow.
That's why you go to events.
Mhm. Yep. And and I tell my clients, when you're attending events, you know, don't just sit in the room. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't go in there, don't hide. My thing is, you get in the room, you have conversation, because you never know where your next, connection is going to come from. Connect with people, have conversations. If they have a Q&A, raise your hand and ask a question. Make yourself known
Yes.
that you're in that room. Make your presence known, that type of thing, and watch what happens. Just like you said, people will remember you, that type of thing. So yeah, yes, yes, and yes.
It's this is the second time you've been on my platform,
Yes.
and we have these conversations. We've had this is like a continued conversation.
Hmm. Hmm.
What is your biggest? We're at the half year mark.
Hmm.
What is your biggest seed that you want to sow into the audience for the second half of the year?
It's a couple of things. One, you still have another half of the year to go. Some people, they may be looking at their goals, so whether or not it's their business goals, their revenue goals, and they may be feeling discouraged. And I'm like, no, once again, we're talking business strategy and being strategic. So have you mapped out and planned out the rest of your year? Just like Luciana was mentioning, I love that. Are there rooms that you need to be in the remainder of this year? Are there people that you need to connect with that can support you in being able to reach your goal? Once again, you were not called to design to journey this thing by yourself. So who is it that you can connect with? If you're not sure, ask, open your mouth and ask the questions. Because like I said, there's still time. There's still people out there, like I said, that you can certainly connect with, that you can partner with, those types of things. Make your request known. Once again, look to see what type of rooms you can be in locally. If you need to hop on a plane and go do what you need to do for your business. Once again, you want to be long-term invested when it comes to your business, and you're projecting and you're planning long-term as well. So yes, we're planning out and we're mapping out the rest of this year. But once again, what's your 5-year goal? What's your 10-year goal? What's your succession plan? All of those types of things. When it comes to your business, we have to put on our hat of business owner. That type of thing. So that would be one of the things that I would really and truly like. It's not too late, but you want to be strategic and intentional about these last few months of the year, because like I said, whatever goal you have, it can literally happen in 24 hours. And so my thing is, are you set up for it? Are you strategic for it? I asked a question the other day on my page, how are you preparing for the overflow? This thing that you're believing for. So many people are talking about overflow and it's the rain and all of that, those things. And my thing is, whatever it is that you're believing for in your business, if that thing were to happen, you're like, hey, I want the $1 million contract or the $7 million contract. Is your business set up to even handle that? You're believing for a thing, but are you even set up to being able to handle it? What can you do now? How can you prepare now? And I love my people. I love my people. And y'all know I love God, Jesus, and Holy Spirit. But some of the people I had to ask, I understand that you are preparing spiritually. I get it. Like, there's nothing that's gonna stop you from praying and all this stuff. But what are you doing in the physical? to prepare, because there were people like, oh yeah, I have a trust attorney. I opened up this high yield account. Like, it was people like that were like, hey, this is how I'm preparing. I'm hiring more people on my team. Like, things like that, to let you know in the physical what you're doing to prepare for whatever it is that you're believing for, like that type of thing too. So yeah, those would be the couple of things that I would just leave, as we're heading into the remainder of this year. Oh, one more thing. Let me say this. Don't fall into this trap of, we're coming up on the holidays, so people aren't buying, people aren't investing, people aren't yada 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 yada. That's a bunch of baloney. It's
It
a
is.
bunch of baloney. Period. We're actually coming into the season where people have their cards out. So
Yeah.
why don't they swipe for you? Why don't they write that check for you? That RFP for you, like that type of thing. So don't fall into that trap. We're coming up on the holiday. I tell people, well, Thanksgiving is one day. Here in the States, Thanksgiving is one day. Christmas is one day. You see what I'm saying? Like, are we just gonna shut the business down for all of November and December? For Don't do that.
The
Okay.
biggest, I'm gonna go here. Um, when I was looking for um, conference space was hard to find because October, November is
Correct.
conference season.
Yes. Hmm.
So once again, and we talked about this, well, I talked about it Monday when I set the intention for the week. We need to stop thinking like consumers and think like
Correct.
business owners.
We have
Flip
dual
that
hats.
switch.
We have dual hats, and you have to be able to turn it off and on, because as a consumer, yes, you want to be educated consumer when you're out and about, but you are also a business owner, and so you have to be able to walk in both of those worlds. And a lot of times we're bringing our consumer hat over into the bit. No, that's not how that works. So yeah, so I'm glad, thank you for saying that. Yeah, we have to put on our business owner's hat.
And a lot of times in our businesses, we're making decisions as though we're consumers.
Hmm.
And then we're sitting here like we're expecting a business result with a consumer decision. And it's like, that's the disconnect.
Hmm. Hmm.
We're making a business decision, we're making a consumer's decision, expecting a business result. And then it's like, yeah, no. When
Hmm.
you're in your business, you're making business decisions.
Correct.
Now, when you're at home and you're looking at the kids, okay, that's a
Hmm.
consumer decision. So it's just, this has been an amazing conversation. And I want to thank you for taking time. Hello, everyone. I just wanted to pop back on. That was a replay of an interview that I had with Beverly back in July, which is why she referenced the half year mark. However, I felt the points that she was expressing during the interviews were pertinent going into the new year. So if you came into the summit halfway through or towards the end of the interview, you kind of missed where I prefaced that. So that's where a little of the confusion may have came in, but it was just a timely spot on point. We, as CEOs of our business, one, we need to recognize that we are the CEOs. And as CEOs, we glean the nuggets and apply them appropriately. Whether or not we're in December and we hear half year, that shouldn't have thrown us off. We still should have listened and gleaned for the lesson that was being discerned. We understand where we are and what part of the year that we're in. But what lessons were being dropped? As I said when I stated the intention in the other live, and the summit is a combination of new interviews and replay of interviews that I had previously said, because resources are things that we pull off of ourselves and new information that we pull together to create answers for ourselves. Now, Beverly Walthauer is somebody that I pull to time and time again because she is a business strategist. Now, she has dropped a planner that is the profit planner that every business owner needs to have. Just scan the QR code, and I will put up a list within the group of all the resources all of the speakers for the summit have graciously made available to the audience. Now, the replay of her interview will stay up in the group for the next week. So you will have time to go back and binge the content, grab a few more of those nuggets, and it's just an amazing conversation. Now we're going to take a brief break while I set up the next interview, which is also a reach back throwback. And then the next interview is actually going to be a live stream where we're talking about, well, I don't want to go too far ahead. So just scan the QR code. It will take you to the profit planner. We're going to take a brief pause, a brief break while I set up the next interview. And then we're going to come back since you don't want to miss out on the next interview because there's some great nuggets in that interview as well. So stay tuned for the continuation of Contracting and Business Summit, sponsored by the LT&A Consulting Group. We are a government contracting and compliance firm who's worked with companies doing work in the government contracting sphere. We'll be back.